Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Tale of Two Trials. And if you guys aren't familiar with, we have two trials recently that occurred in this country. One is the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and the other trial was the three men accused, three men found guilty of killing Ahmaud Arbery. And I just want to talk about these two trials um, because I just want to provide my own insight on this. I haven't been completely following these two cases at all. Just been, occupied with a lot of other things, but I have paid some attention to it. And, obviously I saw different reactions for both trials. And I just want to say that, in my opinion, the same outcome occurred for both trials, and that was justice. Um, from what I read and heard about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, um, he technically did not break any laws. Therefore, he should not be found guilty. And the same thing goes for, but the opposite goes for the other three gentlemen. They did break laws. They were found guilty, and rightfully so. So, but I want to talk to you guys because I don't want the media to start influencing, well, continue influencing you guys' opinion on me. So let's just look at CNN briefly, right? And this is their coverage of the Ahmaud Arbery killing. And look at this headline here from Chris Boyette at CNN. Despite nearly all white jury. So that's the title, right? So what is that going to say? Now you're saying that white people can't be fair, right? In a trial over the killing of a black man, there's a chance that the white jurors won't be fair, won't be just, and will make an impartial decision based on race. So you can see CNN already, even with a guilty verdict, still trying to put in the race card. Um, and that's just unfortunate, that this is what a lot of the news, especially liberal news, likes to do when it comes to their ratings is race. Run off race. It's all about race. Pandemic is race. This is race. Minorities are going to get hit the hardest. And what I want minorities to do is start thinking about why these things affect you the most, why you're being hit the hardest. Because that's not what they ever address. They never address your whys. They just tell you, oh, you're going to be worse off than us. And to me, it just comes from a place of arrogance, and it comes from a place of disingenuine care. And I want, you know, you guys as an audience to start paying attention to these things and realize like these guys are just playing you. The current president said, "What if you're not black if you don't vote for me?" So all these a lot of these news outlets are just playing you guys. They're just pinning one against the other purposely. And now, so let's look at this one. Um, the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Now, I saw a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't believe that he was found not guilty and he had a all." I saw like all white jury and blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, you look at the individuals who were killed in the shooting, and the individual that was shot. They don't look black to me. So why is this a race issue? Well, because there was protests over racial. It was a racially charged protest, and he was there, and he had a gun. He shot people, so he must hate black people. We got to get out of this mindset of, oh, people just hate you and they just want to kill you, because that's not the reality. Um, we forget that there's fear in life. Fear makes us do things that we wouldn't normally do. Fear, anxiety, depression, all these kind of this emotional spectrum that we all have. We sometimes do things we don't intend to do. And sometimes in some of these cases, it's not racially charged. It's not a fear. It's not an anxiety. You know, you could say, "Oh, he shouldn't have been there." You could say, "Oh, he was up to no good. Oh, he was there to hurt somebody." What if he knew someone that got assaulted or hurt in a previous protest? What if he knew a business owner who got robbed or looted during a previous protest? What if he just said, "I'm not going to let another friend of mine or a business owner of mine or anything of the sort get hurt, and I'm going to go there legally with my weapon or with the weapon legally and make sure that no one gets wrongfully hurt during this protest, looted or robbed or anything. I'm just going to prevent that, or I'm going to try to help prevent that." Now you can say that's not your place, but again, the law of this state says that you can open carry. They didn't violate any laws, and if he says people targeted him and came at him, he used his weapon in self defense. He didn't just run into a crowd and just start shooting people. Just start randomly shooting. Oh, I'm just going to start shooting random people because I want to disrupt this black protest or this racially charged protest because I hate black people. Like, come on, guys. Don't let these news and media outlets confuse you and alter reality because that's what they do. This is sensationalism, and this is used for ratings. This is the dopamine effect. These businesses, these news outlets, these media outlets have been struggling for years to get ratings because they don't print the truth, because they don't tell the truth, because they don't provide the truth. They don't give you answers, they give you opinions. They don't give you facts, they give you opinions. So that's why they've been losing ratings. You don't just lose ratings because we just don't use that form of media anymore. I mean, that may happen, but I tell you what, if you're good at what you do, people still follow you. There's YouTubers that have $1 million setup, and there's YouTubers that have a couple $100 setup. And a guy with a couple, or the guy or the girl with a couple hundred might have more of a following, might have more subscribers, might have more fans or more support than a person with $1 million or $1,000 setup. That's because he or she provides good content. And these news and media outlets don't provide good content. They provide a twist. They push their own narrative. They push their own agenda. Whoever's paying them, like I call a lot of these celebrities, entertainers, and news and media outlets are paid programming, paid advertisement. Whoever's giving them the biggest dollar, that's who they're supporting. That's what they're skewing their news towards. And it's unfortunate because we get caught in the crosshairs. And then we start targeting each other. And as a society, we are ripping each other apart and ripping this country apart because we can't come together and realize we all have a common enemy. Hate is our common enemy. And these outlets do everything they can to create more hate, create more separation, and more divide. Because that is how they get their ratings. They don't care about what happens to you and I. They just care about their numbers. So they want us to fight. They want us to argue. They want us to act the fool. They want us to blame each other. They want us to disagree. They don't want us to have a conversation, an open conversation with each other, because that hurts their narrative and that hurts their ratings. And that's what this is about. And that's what this video is about. A tale of two trials. One, oh, yes, justice prevailed. And the other one, oh, justice failed. What? Within a week, justice failed and justice prevailed. I think justice prevailed in both cases. I think what people should have an issue with is if you don't like the law, go and protest to change the law. Go and lobby your local officials to get it up to the state officials and say, hey, I want to change the gun laws. But don't try to throw someone in jail to make an example to say, yeah, let's make an example of him and just deem him as a villain. We got to stop demonizing people as racist, as misogynist, and all these things. We're demonizing one another and we're just creating more divide and more hatred amongst each other. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, how do you explain the picture that he's been taking with Donald Trump? Or, I saw something recently about Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to have an award given to Kyle Rittenhouse. Let's understand this. Donald Trump is not a Republican or a conservative. He's an opportunist. He takes any opportunity he can to get his face in front of a camera or to get his name back in the public. He don't care about Kyle Rittenhouse. He's using this situation for his own gain, his own personal gains, and probably potentially future political gain. And that's what people need to understand. Don't paint Kyle Rittenhouse as a racist because he's posed with Donald Trump. I mean, how many people? There's a lot of people that probably want to meet Donald Trump, former president. There's a lot of people that, you know what I mean? So, like, don't demonize, oh, you see, he is racist. He took a picture with Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump isn't racist. Donald Trump is an opportunist. He said, this is an opportunity. Now, historically, Republicans usually try to stray away from race. They try to keep things more conservative. So they try to keep things more religious and not racially charged. But Donald Trump is not the typical conservative. And I don't want to make this about Donald Trump at all, because Lord knows CNN does that all the time. But what I do want to say is Donald Trump is an opportunist who is using every chance he gets to get his name out there. And I don't believe Donald Trump is racist, but I believe Donald Trump understands, hey, this kid represents the people that I want to support me and my next potential political push. So I'm going to pander to him. It's no different from Joe Biden. Are there intelligent and intellectual conservatives that Donald Trump should be meeting with and could be meeting with and supporting? Of course, but that's not what he's going to do. He's going to take the sensationalized story, which is Kyle Rittenhouse. Joe Biden could have met with intellectual individuals as well, liberals and Democrats that are intellectual. He didn't. He chose to meet with entertainers. Both parties are doing the same thing. And that's what we need to understand as a society. We're being played against one another for control of Congress and control of the presidency. And we need to take a step back and say, why are they doing this? And that's what we need to do. We need to start questioning the why. Well, why are minority communities going to be the most impacted by this situation? Why? Why are these guys constantly trying to pin us against each other? White, black, Asian, Hispanic, then the religious, Jewish, Muslim. They're always trying to pin us against each other. Why? We know why the media outlet does it. We know why the news outlets do it. They need rating. And nothing sells like controversy. But why is the government doing it? Well, they want control because of government spending. And that's another reason, that's another way to show you that Donald Trump isn't a true Republican. Look at his spending habit. They all want control, so they all can spend the money, spend our tax dollars in their own interest, generating more wealth for themselves and more wealth for their buddies and all their interests, foreign interests, whatever it is, and leave us behind to fight for the scrap and to fight over make-believe causes and make-believe issues and make-believe situations. Are there race problems? Sure. Are there religious problems? Sure. Of course, no one's perfect. There are people that are mean. There are people that do evil things. But that's not the majority of us. We got to stop pointing the finger and saying, oh, you hate me, and I know it because so-and-so told me. Why don't we just have a conversation? Why don't some of these, black outlets sit down with Kyle Rittenhouse? Why don't some of these liberal, businesses say, hey, or liberal political parties say, hey, we want to sit down with Kyle. Let's talk to him. Let's see where he's at. But they're not going to do that because they don't want him to say, I'm not racist. They don't want him to say that on their platform. They want to be able to control the narrative and paint him as a racist and paint these gentlemen as racist as well. So they're never going to sit down and talk to any of these people. They're never going to talk to anyone that's going to not give them what they want and what they're seeking, which is controversy. And I always say, I'm from New York City, and that's New York, huge liberal state, especially New York City, specifically liberal. And when I always hear, oh, minorities are going to suffer, I'm saying, well, there's a lot of minorities in these urban cities, which are usually more liberal. Well, why aren't the liberals doing anything about it? Why are minorities suffering in your city that you guys control, in your states that you guys control, if you're the party for the minorities? Because you aren't. That's just your way to guarantee a little 10 out of the 15% of the Black Americans and 10 out of the 50% Hispanic Americans. That's your way to get those votes so that you can get additional congressional seats and win the presidency and then go back on the shopping spree with our tax dollars and not improving our society, but fattening your pocket. Because there's a lot of things that we need here. There's a lot of things that aren't being done here. There are plenty of laws, loopholes that need to be revised. There's plenty of civil trainings that need to be improved, revised, updated, right? We don't need to defund the police. We need to retrain the police. We need to remove duties from the police and create new agencies, create new departments. We understand mental health, but we don't have a mental health department within the police department that's called to say, hey, there's someone suspected of being mentally ill that we need you guys to respond to rather than sending a police officer. Because you act like a police officer has mental health training. No, he doesn't. So if he sees someone who's just like most of us, right? I'm from New York City. You see a mentally ill person walking down the street or on the train, you get up and say, I'm going the other way. I'm going to sit over there. I'm going to leave the train car. I'm going to get off that bus or I'm going to cross the street. That's what you do. But you expect cops to they're not going to have those same fears as us. They're just going to be, courageous and say, oh, I'm a police officer, so I don't fear the mentally ill person. They may still fear that person. They don't have the background. They don't have the research. They don't have the studies. They don't have the education to deal with that kind of manner. So there's plenty of things that we should be investing in. Not this, not hatred, not racism, not separation. But we should be doing things together. If we sat down and collectively spoke and actually gave a shit about what we think, our lives would be better. And my apologies for person, and I didn't mean it. But I am a little frustrated because I'm tired of seeing us divided. We are the divided states of America, and we got to change that. Because I don't judge a book by it. I try not to judge a book by its cover, but I'm human, and I may. But even if I judge you by your appearance, I'll still sit down and give you the opportunity to speak. I'll still hear what you have to say. Because that's how I can truly judge you. And to demonize people as racist, as, when you don't know them, it's childlike. And we're adults, a lot of us. We need to do better. We need to set better examples for our future. And that's where I'm going to end this video at. Let's be better. Let's just do better. I appreciate you guys for listening. If you like the video and you want to hear more, hit the like, share, subscribe button, and also the notifications. If you didn't like the video, I appreciate you listening anyway. And as always, take care of your mind, take care of your body, take care of each other. So that's all we got. Peace.